Since we have been pretty much preoccupied with all of the lavish antics of the charismatic camp, the likes of T.D. Jakes, William Murphy, and a few others. The cats on the reform side, the more subtle, the more passive aggressive, type of lavish antics, the kind that just fly under the radar, that's a little more destructive than the blatant antics of the charismatic side. The reform camp has been able to fly up under the radar. As we can see on the screen, we have American Family Radio drops Alistair Begg following his controversial remarks about the LGBTQ. And without further ado, let's listen to those remarks.
You and I know that we field questions all the time that go along the lines of, my grandson is about to be married to a transgender person, and I don't know what to do about this, and I'm calling to ask you to tell me what to do. It's a huge responsibility. And in a conversation like that just a few days ago, and people may not like this answer, but I asked the grandmother, does your grandson understand your belief in Jesus? Yes. Does your grandson understand that your belief in Jesus makes it such that you can't countenance in any affirming way the choices that he has made in life? Yes. I said, well then, okay, as long as he knows that, then I suggest that you do go to the ceremony, and I suggest that you buy them a gift. Oh, she said, what? She was caught off guard. I said, well, here's the thing. You're not going to, your love for them may catch them off guard, but your absence will simply reinforce the fact that they said these people are what I always thought, judgmental, critical, unprepared to countenance anything. And it is a fine line, isn't it? It really is. And people need to work out their own salvation with fear and trembling. But I think we're going to take that risk. We're going to have to take that risk a lot more if we want to build bridges into the hearts and lives of those who don't understand Jesus. And
the YouTube reform streets are going crazy. Like, video after video after video, people calling him out, and rightfully so. Some of the likes of those that are calling him out, of course, is Justin Peters. And before I go in, let's listen to what Justin Peters has to say.
Difference to attend a ceremony that is an abomination before God is tacit approval to that ceremony. You cannot attend that ceremony and remain silent about it and not see that as tacit approval of it. It absolutely is. And then, as if it couldn't get any worse, then he says, give a gift to them. Give a gift in honor of a ceremony that makes a mockery of marriage and makes a mockery of God himself, to give a gift in honor of that? Dear friends, that is approval. That is tacit approval. There is no way to put lipstick on that pig. Romans 14 verse 22 says, blessed is a man who is not condemned by what he approves. Dear friends, we are condemned not only by our own actions, but also the actions of others that we give approval to. And dear friends, that is not love. Standing there, sitting there in the pew or whatever, as this abomination before God, this mockery of God goes on, and to sit there, that is not showing them love at all. The most loving thing you can do for someone in that situation, in any situation, is to tell that person the truth. I think this is horrible advice. It's unbiblical advice. Profoundly disappointing. And because of this, it breaks my heart to say this, because of this, I cannot in good conscience recommend Alistair's ministry, and that pains me to even say that, but I can't. This is egregious error.
And to be honest, I absolutely agree with what Justin Peters is saying. To go to the celebration and to bring a gift in honor of that unbiblical, abominable mockery, quote unquote, celebration is definitely egregious behavior. But there's one problem, a huge problem. Justin Peters. Yep, y'all guessed it, or probably not. Where was all of that energy for your evangelical pope? Your evangelical Calvinist golden calf. You guys' idol. Johnny Mac. John MacArthur. Where was this energy when John MacArthur said this back in 2017?
Is it truly sinful for a Christian business person, for instance, a cake baker, to produce a product for a gay wedding?
You're on a roll.
No, it's not sinful for a cake maker to make a cake for a gay wedding any more than it's sinful for a guy who runs a restaurant to serve dinner to somebody who's gay and sits in a booth and eats the food, or goes to the market and buys a loaf of bread and you own the market.
J-Mag, stop the cap. Stop the cap. Serving them food. I'm not going to deny them food. You're comparing food to baking a cake in celebration for what God said is supposed to be honorable above all. But anyway, let it continue.
I actually think that we need to show love to everyone. And particularly we need to do good to all those that are outside the kingdom as well as inside the kingdom as much as possible. So a gesture of kindness toward some unregenerate person is in itself not a sin. But again, if it violates your conscience in some way, then you don't want to train your conscience. You don't want to train yourself to ignore your conscience. So I think it's a personal issue.
So Alistair Begg essentially said the same thing John MacArthur said. But we don't see no videos about John MacArthur. But we for sure see videos about Alistair Begg. A whole bunch of them that's back to back to back to back to back. You guys, partiality is showing. You guys, idolatry slip is showing once again. You guys continue to ignore the lavish antics of John MacArthur and in hopes that time passed by and that everything will be okay. That type of behavior is demonic and it's satanic. It's unbiblical. That passive aggressive, that dismissive type attitude, that superiority attitude that you got, that arrogance, that is ungodly. And it is far more destructive than the blatant immorality of the charismatic camp. Why? It's because this type of behavior is able to fly up under the rug. It's able to fly up under the radar, and it goes unchecked because it's rooted in people's preferences. That is satanic and it's demonic. You guys need to repent of your idolatry. Repent of your partiality. If you're going to call out Alistair Begg, you need to call out John MacArthur, Justin Peters. Your partiality slip is showing. Grace and peace.